Easter Monday, blessings of the season and care from buses to troops in the front line.
I remain fully committed to improving living conditions, enhancing professional development, strengthening support system for families.
Nationwide ground-to-air health emergency management system set to take off in Nigeria.
It's a long journey. We're starting it. We will take our time to build it block by block.
Mixed loading meets mixed approaches from Federal Road Safety Corps in Kaduna. A warm welcome this Easter Monday to the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Adeola Komiakiri joins us from Lagos, while right here in our network studios in Abuja, Musa Abubakar and Ayo Makinde will give us sports and business highlights. Musa?
PEBEC holds a rollout of new policies as oil prices rise on Monday.
And Ayo, what's happening in the world of sports?
Well, Abuja is set to host Africa to an African Cycling Championship here in the Federal Capital City.
All right, Ayo, let's get our bicycles ready.
Oh, yes.
Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nca.ng/live. And of course, do follow us across social media. Our handles are always displayed on the screen. And now the news in detail. The federal government has commenced negotiations with Europe's leading aerospace corporation, Airbus, on the development of Nigeria's new nationwide ground-to-air health emergency management system. On the sidelines of discussions with Airbus executives, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pati, has inspected the Airbus emergency care helicopter at a French government-supported air ambulance facility in Lyon, France.
Now we're here in Lyon to look at the helicopter emergency medical services. Look at the Airbus helicopters, which are the dominant helicopters used globally for the air ambulances, but fit within the health system, within the personnel that we have, within the context of the capacity that exists, and the financing model that can make it sustainable. This is taking our health sector one step further, building a health system that will serve Nigerians, that will be getting closer to the standards that anyone can expect anywhere in the world. It's a long journey. We're starting it. We will take our time to build it block by block in line with the President's own vision for a Nigeria that works for everyone.
Plateau State is known for potatoes, and the state government has assured citizens of its readiness to engage youths in potato farming and other areas of agriculture. This was made known during the annual Jos Horticulture Festival. Indiang and Abagang reports.
The event brought together stakeholders in the agriculture sector, including farmers, development partners, and government officials to promote innovation and sustainability in horticulture. Participants note that the platform has provided valuable knowledge and exposure to modern farming techniques.
By the grace of God, with this knowledge, as we share from each other, I believe there will be an improvement in our strawberry farming.
This will help our agriculture activities to be greater than how it is before.
Governor Kelly Mutfwang says his government is determined to increase the quality and quantity of plateau potato to be the best in the world.
Seeing what the Netherlands has done with the size of the country and the deployment of technology, it reinvigorated my belief that we can change the story of potatoes in Nigeria on the plateau.
It's visible also with the farmers that are working with the Dutch companies, and it gives us confidence that the investment here will be falling on solid ground and will be yielding fantastic results.
One of the key things that we seek to do is to see how we improve yields. And that's why we have gone into massive seed production.
The event climaxed with the inspection of crops and various farm produce on display in Jos, Nigerian, and the Abuja. NTA News.
And in neighboring Nasarawa State, the government says it has attracted investment portfolios worth more than $2 billion owing to its ease of doing business policy. Governor Abdullahi Sule says the feat has now ranked the state among the top 10 investment destinations in the country. Aliu Tijani reports.
The vision of the state government under the current administration is to industrialize the state, and this Governor Abdullahi Sule says it is on course in achieving its objective. With the Nasarawa State Investment Summit as the platform to attract investment into the state, Governor Sule says the summit, in its third edition, is expected to consolidate on the gains of the investment drive.
The summit, therefore, represents a critical moment for aligning political leaderships, institutional actors, and investors, as well as citizens around to share a vision for prosperous and resilient Nasarawa State.
With the theme, Bold Transition, Building a Legacy for a Sustainable Future, the summit targets at boosting investors' confidence owing to the investment-friendly environment in the state.
Since the inception of the investment summit, the Nasarawa State, under your leadership, under your able leadership, has attracted $2.3 billion from 2022 to 2025.
Ghanaian President John Mahama, among other investors, are expected to attend the summit. As Governor Abdullahi Sule says, the summit will also unveil the Lafia Declaration, which will equally feature a Lafia Master Plan. A Lafia. Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Let's talk security. The Headquarters Theatre Command Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hatton-K has apprehended 5 suspects following unauthorized discharge of firearms during a social event in Borno State, which led to loss of life. Media Information Officer Operation Hatton-K Colonel Sani Uba says the incident occurred on April 4, 2026, when vigilante and an escort team attached to the chairman of a local government area engaged in sporadic firing into the air during a wedding celebration, leading to the death of a young girl. The suspects will be handed over to the appropriate authorities for further investigation and prosecution. The Theatre Command strongly condemns the act, describing it as unprofessional, unauthorized, and a clear violation of established regulations governing the handling and use of firearms. Now let's go back to Jos. In the spirit of the season, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shuaibu, has hosted troops of 3 Division Headquarters Nigerian Army and Joint Task Force Operation Enduring Peace to a special Easter brunch celebration. Ijoma Ozomena reports.
The Chief of Army Staff reaffirms the Nigerian Army's commitment to restoring lasting peace and emphasizing the importance of community engagement and collaboration with security agencies in the state. Represented by the First Commander of Infantry Corps, Jaji, Kaduna State, Major General Godwin Mutkut, commended the professionalism exhibited by the troops, saying 2026 has been significant in various formations and training institutions. The Chief of Army Staff says the Easter season is a period of spiritual rebirth and self-reflection, which underscores the unity that binds them as an army driven by shared purpose.
I remain fully committed to improving living conditions, enhancing professional development, strengthening support system for families, and ensuring that every member of the Nigerian Army is treated with dignity.
Every checkpoint and every engagement must reflect the highest standards of professionalism.
Key players at the event commended the officers and men of the Nigerian Army for sustaining peace and securing lives and property, as well as their unwavering commitment to serve the nation. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
Yes, Ijoma, 3 Division is a mechanized unit active since 1967. And now let's talk the season. Before Jesus Christ's death and resurrection, he instructed his disciples to meet him in Galilee. This meeting, as told in the Gospel, holds significant importance in Christian faith. Elizabeth Omorui looks at why Galilee remains a reference point and how Christians leverage its significance.
The meeting at Galilee after Jesus' resurrection holds deep significance. The Bible reveals it represents a return to the ministry's origin, fulfilling his instruction to meet him in Galilee. In Galilee, Jesus met his followers, underscoring the fact the gospel is for everyone. Galilee was central to Jesus' ministry, the base where he spent much of his life, performed miracles like turning water into wine, calming a storm, and healing the sick. It also provided the backdrop for his teachings and fulfillment of prophecy. Clergymen speak on its importance in Christian faith.
During this season, we come to church often, we do prayers of adoration, of thanksgiving, and we turn to Christ and turn to spiritual matters. So this is our hope. And if we don't do it, we become weak and anemic, spiritually anemic. So, but when we do it, we are strong, we are vibrant.
For us to know that God's kingdom is only the solution to all humankind problem.
Christians are expected to leverage the meeting at Galilee for personal restoration and spiritual renewal.
Go into the world and preach the gospel to all creation.
Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Still on Easter, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma wants Christians to imbibe the spirit of love and sacrifice as exemplified by Jesus Christ on the cross of Calvary. The governor said this during the Easter church service held at his home church, St. Rose Catholic Church, Pozo Omoma in Oru East local government area. Beatrice Anyam reports.
St. Rose of Lima Catholic Church, Ozomoma in Oru East local government area of Imo State was filled to capacity as worshippers from the state and beyond joined Governor Hope Uzodimma on the Easter service. In his words of exhortation, the Auxiliary Bishop of Catholic Diocese of Olo, Most Reverend Thomas Obiatuegu, described Easter as a period of compassion and love when the good triumphs over evil.
Be truthful, be sincere whatever you are doing, and live as a child of God. Because if you live as a child of God, on the last day, you will see him face to face.
Governor Hope Uzodimma, in his message to the people, reminded them to always reflect on the suffering, death, and the resurrection of Christ, which is the reason for the Easter.
If we truly practice that law, the world will be a better place. If we love our neighbors as ourselves, if we go one another's body, if we serve one another with the same selflessness that Christ demonstrated, our homes will be peaceful, our communities will be harmonious, and our nation will be prosperous.
The Easter service featured a Thanksgiving session led by the governor. From Oru East local government area of Imo State, I am Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
You're watching the network news on NTA. Stay tuned for more reports right after the break.
When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaigned in 2023, he promised to build a better Nigeria.
You're watching the network news on NTA, and the focus is on Nigerian youths who have been described as hard-working and creative, capable of transforming the country into a global force if properly harnessed through inclusion in decision-making at all levels of governance. The view of stakeholders at the National Youth Alliance Leadership Symposium and inauguration of 112 local government coordinators of the Northeast Zone. Muaz Hassan in Bauchi reports.
The Leadership Symposium brought youth and women from the Northeast Zone under the auspices of National Youth Alliance. It is a strategic session on mobilizing youth for socio-political transformation in Nigeria, networking opportunities for youth leaders, policy makers, and stakeholders.
We are out to change the mindset of the young people, to know that Nigeria is their country. We don't have any other place like Nigeria. And then it's also not a crime, as Nigerians and young people, it is our constitutional right to come out and make observations and then try to provide solutions.
I advise that you keep the foot together as a group and join one political party in Nigeria.
The forum also aimed at fostering a new generation of inclusive leaders, ensuring youth and women have meaningful roles in shaping Nigeria's political and governance landscape.
Giving us a possible chance to play our own role in the system is a good thing.
The event with the theme, Birthing a New Nigeria, Youth and Women Inclusion in Politics and Governance, featured inauguration of 112 local government coordinators of the Northeast Geopolitical Zone in Bauchi. Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
Now let's head to Benue State, where the Nigerian Immigration Service has intensified efforts to promote safe and regulated migration through a nationwide sensitization campaign on Nigeria's migration policy. The campaign is being carried out across various states of the Federation and is aimed at educating citizens on the provisions of the National Migration Framework and the dangers associated with irregular migration. Blessing Omeche Ebute in Benue reports.
The sensitization campaign on the National Migration Policy is an initiative aimed at enhancing border management and national security and the protection of migrants' rights. Controller of Immigration Service Benue State Command, Andrew Wanogo, explained that the policy provides a structured approach to migration governance, focusing on legal pathways, documentation, and interagency collaboration. He reaffirmed the commitment of the Nigerian Immigration Service to continuous public engagement, urging Nigerians to embrace lawful migration channels and report suspicious activities related to human trafficking and illegal border crossing.
Migration movement generally is handled by Nigerian Immigration Service at the forefront. With the present 2025 migration policy, even though we are critical stakeholders, we are more concerned with management of border security.
What we are focused on is making sure that all agencies that are involved have what we call KPIs, that's key performance indicators, to make sure that every officer is held accountable for what you are assigned to do.
The sensitization campaign is expected to continue in other parts of the country as part of sustained efforts to ensure a well-informed and migration-aware populace. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Education has reaffirmed its dedication to improving educational infrastructure nationwide, aiming to enhance learning outcomes and drive national development. The commitment was underscored during the groundbreaking and inauguration of key projects at the Federal Government College, Kano. Fatima Sunusi Arai reports.
The projects valued at over 8 billion naira have just been officially flagged off, marking the symbolic commencement of construction work at the site. Stakeholders say the initiative is expected to, upon completion, ease pressure on existing facilities and improve access to essential learning resources for students.
The initiative is not just about infrastructure alone, it is about impact, which entails the development of 18 critical infrastructure and assets, alongside the renovation of 15 additional facilities. It is a comprehensive intervention designed to significantly enhance the physical and academic landscape of FGC and reflect a well-structured approach that combines innovation, efficiency, and accountability.
The intervention reflects ongoing efforts to address gaps in the education sector and strengthen a more functional and inclusive school system nationwide. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garai, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu celebrates renowned engineer, successful entrepreneur, prominent politician, his longtime ally and friend, Senator Benga Daniel, on his 70th birthday. The president salutes Otumba Daniel for his professional exploits, strides in governance and political achievements, feats he accomplished by dint of wisdom and hard work, evident in his service to Ogun State and Nigeria. President Tinubu wishes him more years, good health, and continued meaningful contributions to the country. The president also celebrates renowned lawyer and prominent politician Chief Olushola Oke on his 70th birthday. Oke was Deputy Director, Legal Affairs in the Tinubu Shetima Campaign Organization in 2023. President Tinubu prays God grant Oke more years, good health, and increased wisdom. Similarly, the president extends warm congratulations to his special advisor on job creation and micro, small and medium enterprises, Temitola Adekunle Johnson, on his birthday on April 7. President Tinubu commends him for his dedication in promoting MSMEs and wishes him many more years of impactful service to the nation. It's time to join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center for more news. Adiola.
Thank you, Najatu. The Household of God Church on Sunday held its 2026 Easter service in commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ with a large congregation of worshippers, special ministrations, the message by the Shepherd Superintendent, Reverend Chris Okotie, centered on hope, renewal, and faith in God. Dana Ajale completes the report.
The 2026 Easter service at the Household of God Church song ministration was led by the Shepherd Superintendent, Reverend Chris Okotie. The service also featured soul-lifting renditions that reflected the joy of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In his sermon, Reverend Chris Okotie, who took his message from the book of Mark 16, John chapter 20, and Matthew 28, dwelt on the powerful signs of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. He also called on Nigerians to uphold love, unity, and perseverance in the face of national challenges.
Every nation, nationalism, is forged in the crucible of resilience and patriotic tenacity, and that Nigeria is no exception. So I want to encourage everybody. Resurrection means a resuscitation, rejuvenation, and Nigeria is going to be resuscitated, revitalized. Let nobody's heart be troubled. Do not be discouraged. Happy Easter, everyone.
The Easter worshippers departed with a renewed sense of purpose and spiritual upliftment.
We should consider that death of our Lord Jesus Christ and resurrection, which will be a benefit for every Nigerian when you are dealing with our fellow human beings.
Brings hope, perseverance, truth, light, protection, and provision. I think that's what Easter is about, reminding ourselves of those things, to lay our hands in God's hands.
When Jesus died, a lot of people never expected him to come back, but he did on the third day, and hallelujah.
The Easter service at the Household of God Church reinforced the core Christian message of redemption, and renewal, leaving worshippers inspired to live positively and contribute meaningfully to society. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
With the current geopolitical tension around the world, re-strategizing on sustaining socioeconomic goals of nations has become imperative. This is what brought the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed to Dangote fertilizer plant to ensure that there is an understanding with key industries that will boost the sustainable development goals of the world's umbrella body. Larry Beleyi, who monitored the visit, now reports.
For the United Nations, sustaining the Sustainable Development Goal 2, also known as Zero Hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture by 2030. Given these circumstances, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations visited the Dangote Lekki jetty, now converted to a port for imports of heavy equipment and exports of fertilizers and Dangote fertilizer plant.
The whole point of the visit is really to look at mitigating the crisis and the global impacts of what is happening in the Middle East, and fertilizer food security is a big part of that. I think the UN's job here is to amplify and to put visibility on the possibilities of mitigating a food security crisis, and this is one of them. I hope that when we go back, that we can continue to talk to the partners that will partner, the countries that should partner with the Dangote industries.
According to UN's Trade and Development, fertilizer is a primary driver of global food security, responsible for 40 to 60% yield. On energy challenges brought about by global tensions in the Middle East, Dangote assured Nigerians that the refinery is working at full capacity to cushion the attendant effect.
For urea, which is fertilizer that we have, I think in the last couple of days we'll be loading to mostly African countries, which we are not doing before. And then now is to do with also petroleum products, which are now sending mainly to African countries. What I can do is to assure Nigerians, first of all, here and most of West Africa and Central Africa, East Africa, we have the capacity to supply them.
For the United Nations and Dangote, the conviction of having a mutual goal, both in the area of food security, is a welcome development. In Lagos, Larry Beleyi, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos.
You're still watching the NTA Network News. Let's now talk business. The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBIC, has directed all ministries, departments and agencies to halt the rollout of new policies and regulations until they comply with the regulatory impact analysis framework. Director General Zara Mustafa Audu announced this in Abuja, noting that the framework introduced in January 2025 requires all new or amended policies to undergo proper review and approval. She emphasized that no policy will proceed without clear evidence-based justification, adding that the directive aims to prevent policy shocks, ensure consistency, and strengthen investor confidence. And energy oil prices were little changed on Monday as markets balanced fears of escalating Middle East tensions with optimism over a possible U.S.-Iran ceasefire. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude for May rose 85 cents to $112.39 per barrel, while Brent crude gained 6 cents to $109.69 per barrel. Well, that concludes Business News. Najai is back to you.
Thank you for the update, Musa. And now we're talking the dangerous practice of mixed loading. And the Kaduna Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps has launched a crackdown against the practice, following firm directives from the Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed. A statement by the Corps Public Education Officer Osondo Heri indicates that the Corps Marshal describes mixed loading as a ticking time bomb on Nigerian highways, a violation which converts vehicles into rolling death traps. The operation has resulted in the interception and apprehension of multiple articulated vehicles found conveying a hazardous combination of more than 100 human beings, animals and goods along critical corridors during the ongoing Easter patrol. And tragic news from Asaba Delta State, where a downpour accompanied by strong winds has resulted in the loss of one life and left several others seriously injured. Susan Isu reports that the state government has since directed the felling of trees in the area as a precautionary measure to prevent a recurrence.
These mango trees were planted to enhance the aesthetics of the state capital. However, in a sudden twist of event, the tree which provided shade and fruits to residents have become dangerous trees after a heavy downpour with storm. The storm, which began at about 6 p.m. Sunday evening, uprooted one of the large mango trees planted along Okpanam roadside pavement. Eyewitnesses described the moment as sudden and devastating.
The rain began to fall, so it got the carry breeze. All the tree, mango tree, got the fall. The mango just fall for top of the keke.
People are in the hospital. Yes. More than 3 or 4 people in the hospital.
Thing government go do. All this mango went too long. Made them come quarter.
We check the one that fell down. There's no tap root. This mango is like a death trap in Okpanam Road.
Emergency responders and Good Samaritans quickly moved the injured victims to a nearby medical facility for treatment. The Commissioner for Environment, Jamani Ejiro, who visited the scene for an on-the-spot assessment, expressed condolences to the family of the deceased and sympathized with the injured.
What we tend to do, we want to trim them and do replanting before we remove all of them. We'll communicate with the family and the needful will be done. We'll reach out to the family, we'll go to the hospital to see those who were injured.
Residents have been advised to remain cautious during severe weather conditions and report potential environmental hazards to relevant authorities. In Asaba, Susan Esu, NTA News.
Disability inclusion, national discourse, and stakeholders are calling for stronger policies and practical actions to ensure equal opportunities for persons with disabilities, particularly within Nigeria's justice system. Our correspondent on disability matters, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, reports that the Governing Council of the Nigerian Bar Association Lawyers with Disabilities Forum paid a courtesy visit to the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, Muhammad Abba Isa, to strengthen collaboration and address challenges confronting lawyers and other persons with disabilities.
One of our mandates is to partner with other agencies and other bodies that align with what we want, which is an inclusive society.
Inclusion remains a central pillar of national development. Together, we can build a Nigeria where persons with disability are not only protected by law, but are empowered to thrive and contribute meaningfully to the society.
The forum also outlined priority areas requiring urgent attention, like expanding access to justice through pro bono legal services, improving accessibility within the justice system through measures such as virtual proceedings, and securing institutional support to enhance the forum's interventions. It's time for another break. We'll be back with sports and other news. Stay tuned. The application of terminologies to address stereotypes and ethnic profiling and its impact on security is the subject of a discussion at a conference organized by the Office of the National Security Advisor. At the engagement, experts conceptualized definitions to address ethnic profiling. National Coordinator, National Counter-Terrorism Center, explains that sustainable security must be anchored on prevention, trust, responsible communication, and nation building.
describe, and communicate security issues can either strengthen cohesion or unintentionally deepen mistrust, misunderstanding, and division among communities.
In security operations, in media reporting, and in public discourse, definitions are not neutral. They carry weight. They influence how communities are seen and how they are treated.
We live in a world where words are rarely just words. In security and social discourse, terms, once misused or decontextualized, become powerful tools that build walls inside fear and solidify dangerous stereotypes.
We realize that over time, identities, sometimes biases, and sometimes the terminology that are used in conversations, in public discourses and security, isolate, sometimes stigmatize, hate messaging, and even stereotyping is being used in contextualizing security conversations, and this is the essence.
Of broad or inaccurate categorization on security responses, policy decisions, and intercommunal relations were in focus, where the organizers stressed the need for journalists to get involved in the fight against stereotypes and ethnic profiling in Nigeria. It's time to join Ayo in his Sporting Corner for updates. Ayo, let's have all the juicy latest things you promised us earlier.
Thanks so much, Naja. Well, let's begin from cycling, where Nigeria is once again setting the stage for top-level cycling action as preparations gather momentum ahead of the African Track Championships in Abuja. With the host Abuja City ready to host the continent, attention is now focused on athletes as the Cycling Federation of Nigeria begins campaign activities aimed at building a stronger team for the competition.
Presently, we're gearing up for our National Track Championship, starting on the 8th to the 12th of this month. And after the championship, we'll select the male and female cyclists, including the tender and class C, 1 to 5, and B class. That was the blind category.
We've been here for a couple of days now, and we've been putting our best so as to accomplish what we want to accomplish for the Federation.
All right, let's cross over now to football, where Ikorodu City suffered a 4-1 defeat to Plateau United in their matchday 33 encounter at the Lafayette City Stadium on Easter Monday, leaving them third with 52 points from 33 matches, as Plateau United moved to 8th with 46 points. Meanwhile, Abia Warriors edged closer to continental qualification with a 1-0 win over Bayelsa United in Umuahia, moving to 4th place with 52 points, while Bayelsa United remains 16th with 40 points. Away from Nigeria, Real Madrid will host Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu on Tuesday in the first leg of the UEFA Champions League quarter-final, a record 29th meeting between the two sides in the competition. Arsenal's hope for a season-ending double continues when they take on Sporting Lisbon of Portugal. The Ghana's aspiration for a quadruple have been dashed after losses to Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final and to Southampton in the English FA Cup finals. On Wednesday, it will be the turn of Barcelona to welcome Atletico Madrid to the new camp. That's your sports. It's back to Naja Atu.
Thank you, Ayo, and it's time to see what the weather has in store. The weather forecast concludes the network news on NTA. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the crew, I wish you a wonderful work week. I'm Najaa Atutujani.